Alright, I'm going to rotate the tires on my car. I'll start by lifting up the rear of the car and putting a jack stand under the structural part of the frame. I'm going to do the same thing to the front. I'm lifting it up under the frame rail there with the floor jack and then putting a jack stand under the structural part of the car, taking off the front wheel. I'm on the passenger side here. Do the same thing for the rear passenger, remove it. And I like to do this about once every year. I'll go through with this little scouring, rotational scouring brush and clean off the disc rotor hat, clean off any rust and corrosion there. It's a great little tool for doing that. And all right, now I'm going to move up to the front, clean it off as best as possible, get in there. And this little tool has, it's like a hook and loop or Velcro fastening of that little cleaning disc on there. The kit comes with several of those things. Now I'm going in with a brush to get the areas that I couldn't get with that rotary cleaning tool, and wiping that off. And I do use a little bit of anti-seize there. I'm putting it on the disc rotor hat, the surface where the wheel contacts the disc rotor hat. Also put it on the threads. And then here I'm basically wiping it all off the threads. There is the thinnest of coating of anti-seize that's left on the threads. I've been cautioned about that from tire stores before, that can alter the torque specs when you're torquing a wheel down. So basically, what's left on the threads of the studs is minimal. Yeah. So, like I say, I put it on the threads, but then I basically try to wipe it all off. And if you've ever dealt with anti-seize before, it's hard to get it off. I mean, so anyway, it's a super thin coating on the threads, just barely enough to keep them from corroding, because I don't want to be stuck on the interstate and I can't get my, if I have a flat, I can't get my lug or my wheel studs off, the wheel lug nuts off the wheel. So I'm also doing that center shaft there. That's my the drive shaft. I figure eventually I'm going to have to take that thing off and replace the drive shaft. So here I'm cleaning the wheel faces. Again, these are aluminum. Just using the manual brush here to clean that up a little bit, wiping it off. Okay, so I took the front the rear passenger tire and I put it on the front. Just running those nuts down with the hand tightening them. I'm going to go in with the torque wrench, getting just a little bit of torque on there, maybe 20 foot-pounds or something like that. Now I'm lowering the tire down until the rubber just touches the cement, so the tire won't spin when I'm torquing it down. I'm torquing it down to 75 foot-pounds in a star pattern here. I'm going to move that up to 100 foot-pounds for the final torque, again a star pattern, and I'm double checking that there. Okay, now that's done. Okay, I'm cleaning the other wheel now, and again just going over it with the brush, wiping it off. And that was the front tire passenger side. Now it's going on the rear. Hand tightening the nuts there and running those down, running them in. Going in with the torque wrench, just probably 20 foot-pounds or something. Now I'm remove the jack stand, let the tire down until it just barely touches the concrete so the wheel won't spin while I'm torquing it. I'm going to go in with 75 foot-pounds first in a star pattern. And setting the torque wrench for 100 foot-pounds. And doing my final torque there, 100 foot-pounds, star pattern. All right, got that side. Now I'm over to the driver's side, rear here. Lifting that up, putting a jack stand under a structural component of the car. Now I'm in the front, under the frame rail, lifting that up, putting a jack stand up under the structural member of the car. Taking off the front tire. Now I'm in the back, pulling that tire off. Doing my cleaning process again with the little tool. That thing's great. I love it. I think that kit comes with like 3 of those discs. I think I just used 1 disc to do the whole car, and they do wear down over time. And I'm going back in with the brush. So you're probably wondering why in the world would you do your own tire rotation in your driveway? I mean, yeah, this is not easy. I mean, it probably takes an hour and a half to do this. Maybe, I don't know, 2 hours, hour and a half, whatever, 2 hours with all the cleaning of the metal surfaces and everything. So the reason that I do this is that I've had problems before with the tire shops that I go to. When I go in for a rotation, they generally, the place where you buy the tires at least where I bought them at, they include free rotation. So I like to go in like every 5,000 miles and have the tires rotated, and just getting the tires to be perfectly speed balanced. I'm a real stickler for that. I don't like any vibration driving down the road at highway speed, 70, 80 miles per hour. Can't stand it. So my experience has been that it takes quite a lot of effort to get the tire shops to get the speed balancing correct on the tires. So once I've got that locked in and all tires are perfectly speed balanced, I don't like to lose that. So what was happening to me is I would go back to the tire store to get my tires rotated, and it probably took me 50,000 miles to figure this out. But I would go in there, they would rotate the tires, and I would leave, and I would have a vibration problem. It was in the front. If it was in the rear tires, I'd feel that in the seat, and if it was in the front tires, I'd feel that in the steering wheel, or I'd see the dash shaking at like 60, 70, 80 miles per hour, or whatever. So it was very baffling. Again, it took me like 50,000 miles to figure it out. What I finally realized what was happening is I would go into the shop with perfectly balanced, speed balanced tires, and as part of their standard operating procedure, I'm checking for any kind of bizarre wear pattern, and I do have some feathering on the tire there. But anyway, I finally realized what was happening as part of their standard operating procedure. During rotation, they would pull the tires off the car, they would strip the weights on the tire, and then they would put each tire on their speed balancing machine and recalibrate and reattach weights. And they were doing it wrong. Maybe not on all tires, but at least one or more of the tires, they were getting the speed balancing wrong. So that's why I was leaving and having speed balance issues. So I'd have to go back and go back again and finally get that resolved. But anyway, I just decided to do it in my driveway once a year, so I wouldn't have to worry with that. But now when I go in to get my tires rotated at the tire shop, I specify do not strip if my tires are perfectly speed balanced, I tell them not to strip the weights. Okay, so here I am. I did cross the tires. So what I did here, I did it on 2 days. So I moved the backs, the rears to the fronts, and the fronts to the rears. And when I moved the rears to the fronts, I crisscrossed them. That's because that's what's called for in my Haynes manual, and that's just what I do, or that's what I've done, and it seems to work well as far as evening out wear for me. So this is the second day where I'm actually doing the crisscross function here. So that's the driver's side front, and this is the passenger side front. So pull that one off. It looks like I just put the tire right back on there, but it's just how I did the editing. So that's the front driver's side is now being mounted on the front passenger side. So I'm just running in those nuts there, getting a little bit of torque on it, like 20 foot-pounds, whatever. Then I'll do my 75 foot-pounds, and then finally my 100 foot-pounds. So anyway, like I say, it took me like 50,000 miles to figure out why I was going in for a tire rotation with perfectly balanced tires, wheels, and then coming out with a vibration problem. So the solution is to make sure that they do not, if the tires are perfectly speed balanced going in for the tire rotation, make sure they do not strip the weights, and that solved the problem. So and it can be extremely tricky. Tire speed balancing can be extremely tricky because there are several components that can contribute to vibration in a car, and this is a front-wheel drive car. It's not all-wheel drive. So in the front, if there's something wrong with the axle shafts or one of the axle shafts, either the right-hand side. Okay, here I'm checking the PSI for the tires. The fronts are 32 PSI and the rears are 32 PSI, and the spare is 60 PSI. So I'm going to air those up, set the pressure in the tires at all four corners, and I'm also going to do the spare in the trunk. But anyway, speed balance issues, they can be hard to solve. And like I said, this car's front wheel drive, so if I had a speed related vibration, it could be the tires, the wheels. The wheel could be bent, the drive axles could maybe they're worn out, or maybe they're bent, so that could contribute to vibration. Also, maybe the disc rotor, if there was like a chunk of metal missing in the disc rotor, that possibly could also, however, that would be extremely rare and an occurrence kind of thing, and plus the brakes would be malfunctioning if there was a chunk of metal missing in the brake rotor. So in the front, that's what can contribute to vibration. In the back, it could just be the wheel could be bent, a tire could be out of round, or a tire could be not speed balanced properly. So it's really hard to once a car has everything is running perfectly without vibration down the interstate, 50, 60, 70, 80 miles per hour, then I definitely want to hold on to that. So that's it's important not to, if there was no vibration issues going in for a tire rotation, there shouldn't be any vibration issues coming out. If there are vibration issues after getting a tire rotation, then the shop has done something, probably with the weights on the speed balance process that are not in the right place, or not the right amount of grams or ounces or whatever they use, so whatever unit they use. But now that I know what was causing the problem with creating this speed balance issues, now I know when I go to the tire shop for a rotation, I know how to tell them what to do. Anyway, that concludes my tire rotation. If you found this video helpful or entertaining, or you just would like to see more content like this, please like, subscribe, and share. Thank you for watching.